Alright, today we're going to take a look at drawing a reflective bowl using some markers. So what I've done is I've drawn a bowl with a 7H pencil. I'm going to be using these Faber-Castell permanent markers that have India ink in them, and they're grayscale. So I'm going to start with the lightest pen that I have. And this video is sped up because the entire drawing ended up taking me just over 20 minutes to complete. And that will be pretty boring, so I've just sped things up. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in each step of the process. First thing I'm doing is just looking at the bowl, and I'm going to look at the darkest values. I know that this isn't necessarily the darkest values at this point, but I'm looking at the darkest values. Some areas I'm going to have to leave alone because they're highlighted, but really to create a reflection, the key when you have something like this bowl texture, the key is really having high contrasting values next to each other with a hard line. So you'll see as I draw this, I'm going to create hard lines between each grouping of values, and I'm going to have highly contrasting values, and that's going to give the illusion of a reflective bowl. So right now, I know the marker looks kind of dark on the video, but it's actually the lightest of the grayscale markers that I have in this video, and you'll see when we get darker, you'll see how much they contrast. Now, when I go over an area that I've already added marker to, the value is going to get darker, just like if you were using a pencil. And what's kind of cool about these markers is that they have actual India ink inside of them, so the marker is permanent. Now, at the beginning of the video, I started making cross contour lines that kind of follow the contour of the bowl. I'm also going to add a couple of lines that go horizontal to those around the bowl too, because in the bowl that I'm looking at, it does have those reflective areas of value as well. Alright, now I'm going to switch to a little bit of a darker value marker, and actually, you might notice in the video that this gray is a little bit cooler than the first gray. The first gray was kind of a warm gray. This gray is a little bit cooler, and it's going to increase the contrast. So you can already see those the difference between the cool gray and the darker gray. You can already see also that the contrast is getting a little bit stronger with this next gray that I'm adding. Now it's time to move on to a little bit darker value. And again, this gray is a little bit darker value, but it's a little warmer. So again, it's going to create some contrast there. And you can see, you already start to see kind of that reflective surface on the inside part of the bowl. This is going to develop as we go through the drawing. But remember, you got to have strong contrast, hard lines next to the values, and remember to leave light areas for the highlights. Now in my case, I have a bowl set up on my table, and that's what I'm using as reference. And I actually have 3 light sources in the room that I'm drawing. So I'm going to have 3 cast shadows. So I'm going to draw the shape for those 3 cast shadows, and my shadows aren't actually totally correct. So it's going to skew my drawing a little bit and make the bottom of the bowl look a little less rounded. But I do have my hardest light source coming from the right side, so the left side of the bowl on the cast shadows are the darkest. And my bowl's not white, so I'm going to have to add a little bit of value to the bowl to make it look a little bit like it's metallic. I'm going to leave the highlights on the inside of the bowl and around the edge so that I do have those highlights. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a dark outline, and there you go. That's how you draw a reflective bowl using grayscale markers.